Hello everyone, welcome to Glass Half Dead, the home of Kill Team content, and I'm excited to talk about the new Kill Team Salvation Scout Squad. Firstly, of course, thanks to Games Workshop for sending this to me for review. I'll start with an overview, then summarise all of the Tac Ops employees, discuss the main ability, and then a few notes on the Operatives. As always, timestamps are below. Very quickly though, right at the top, what are the Scout Squad and who are they for? The Scout Squad are an interesting mix of flexible rules with inflexible models. You will always take the same team and use the same ploys, if I'm honest. In a sense, they're very beginner friendly because of that. The flexibility in this team comes from their forward scouting ability that allows them to change their game plan each and every game in deployment based on the team they're fighting and the terrain they're fighting on. However, once the game begins, it feels like you're just carrying out the plan you decided on in deployment and hoping the dice go your way. From a balance perspective, 10 wounds is a good place to be, but they don't have the hitting power of Commandos or Felgor, and 3 models with heavy really restricts their movement possibilities. And of course, if you lose your Sergeant early, the loss of that extra APL will doom the team. Let's be honest, 2 APL 9 model thing barely passes a vibe check, TBH. Still a good team for Marine fanboys and people looking for a beginner team who are scared off by list building. As with all pre-release content, the number of games I've actually managed to get in is quite limited, so I've only been able to run the scouts in 6 games so far, 4 of them on the new beta decimer table, as you see in front of me here. So consider that when I'm giving my impressions. If you want to see this team played by a top-ranking player, aka not me, I've done a battle report with them over on Tactical Skew. See you over there. On Glass Half Dead though, I've done an unboxing of Salvation and the new Killzone, plus an overall review of them as products, and then of course this type of team summary for the Blades of Cain too. Before we crack on with this long and in-depth review, I'd like to give a big subscriber-only benefit, so if you're not a subscriber, jump ahead 30 seconds, but that is a big double hello. Wow, so wholesome, and truly the wholesomeness knows no bounds for such a polite and pleasant pleasantry receiver like yourself. Thank you. Also, hey look, if you like what I'm doing here, consider checking me out on Patreon. It's basically a glorified tip jar, but I give you extra videos like random unboxings and channel updates and like doom posting about my life, I guess. Also at certain tiers I give digital goodies like my objective markers, which you can see in front of me and probably on screen elsewhere right now. An STL for these Glass Half Dead themed tokens, order tokens, and some data card templates. Okay, let's get to it. A summary of their ploys and Tac Ops and abilities. The team is a 9-man team allowing you to take a sergeant, 5 specialists, and then 3 warriors. The sergeant and warriors can be kitted out with a pistol and melee, a bolt gun, or a shotgun. The warriors always go shotgun, that much is certain. More talk on the sergeant when we get to his datasheet. They can take recon and infiltration, and with the way the game is right now, that means you're pretty much literally always, in fact, take recon. Talking of recon, let's look at their faction Tac Ops. Sudden Strike is that if more enemies than you die in turn point 1, you score a VP, and kill more in any other turn to score the second. The difficulty of this is interesting and will depend very heavily on your opponent and which forward scouting abilities you use, which we'll get into in a second about this forward scouting thing. But note that if an operative has 12 or more wounds, they count as 2 kills to your 1 model death, kind of. From all angles, needs you to have an operative in 3 out of 4 table quarters and to all deal damage to an enemy. Honestly, actually not a bad one. You are going to be shooting the enemy, you are going to be spread out over the map, not terrible. Gather Reconnaissance is perform an action within 6 inches of the enemy's drop zone. For the second VP, still be alive at the end of the game, but note that multiple operatives can do the action. All in all, these Tac Ops really aren't that bad, actually, and I can see from all angles being a regular pick, or even if you want to play a more aggressive scout team, Sudden Strike, and how it will pair with forward scouting. Either they give you a kill and a VP, or they deny you that VP, but in return, they stay off objectives turn 1. So pretty strong, definitely has play, a little bit of a mind game aspect to it as well. Ploys are pretty standard rerolls but with caveats. So guerrilla engagements is a reroll in defense when you're shot as long as you're over 6 inches from any enemies. Gunfire ambush is when you change your order, reroll all shooting attack rolls of one number, essentially Colt ambush if you know Wormblade. In fact, that's all of their rerolls here, all of their ploys. Blade ambush is the same but for melee, and additionally if the target isn't ready you get rending. Stealth relocation is if you're over 6 inches from the enemy, you can perform a free dash and change your order with one scout. Can't use it in the first turning point, obviously. And then go on to tactical ploys. Astartes training, you can shoot twice or fight twice with a bolter / shotgun. That's a bolt weapon, so you cannot shoot with your missile launcher twice, obviously. Raw physiology, ignore any or all modifiers to a scout's APL. Emboldened aspirant, after rolling in a fight or shoot action, if this is the first friendly operative to do it this turn, or if the target has more wounds remaining than you have remaining, so it's not total, it's remaining, retain a normal as a crit. Finally, covert position is a super conceal. Very nice, very easy. All of these ploys are fine. I like that thematically it's all about the ambush. You do all of your stuff on the turn you go loud. That's pretty cool. I can see it leading to super strong turn 2s with the scouts where you burn all your CP and have all your buffs live for one big glorious turn where you stack the dice math in your favour with rerolls. Although, minor aside, nothing to do with this team really, but sad that the game comes down to you get some rerolls, therefore you're good. But whatever, let's not dwell. So let's get into it. It's the scout's ability, forward scouting. After deployment, but before the scouting step, you can do 5 of the 8 scouting options. Get it? The scouting step, but these happen before the scouting step, so they're called forward scouting because it's before the scouting step. I promise you it's actually going to help you remember it. Like, it makes sense. It's a good name. I like it. Despite how I just phrased that. Yeah, it's forward scouting because it happens before. You get it. Next to the option, there is a number in brackets, and that's the number of times you can do that option. For example, redeploy can be all 5 of your picks if you want. Let's go through them, and redeploy is exactly what you expect. Deploy an operative again. That includes flipping their order, or selecting their order in fact. Recon and infiltrate can be done twice each and give you a recon and infiltrate option exactly as described in the scouting step, however you resolve that recon dash right now. Triple arm is a really interesting tech piece that is going to be key to how this team plays if they want to be aggressive turn 1. Place this token anywhere over 6 from your opponent's drop zone. When an enemy with a conceal order moves within circle, they are treated as being on an engage order until the start of their next activation, so it lasts over the turning point. Pretty useful. Minor aside, Kill Team Salvation comes with tokens, don't forget, and there is a token specifically for Booby Trap and for the one I've just mentioned here, whatever that's called, a triple arm? Yeah, triple arm. It is a small token, it's about 1 centimeter wide. Don't forget, all things like this, they are a single teeny tiny, infinitely small point. The token you use is irrelevant. Booby Trap is an interesting one. So you place it over 6 from the enemy drop zone and over circle from an objective marker. When an enemy moves within it, roll a dice. On a 4+, it explodes and deals that number on the dice of mortal wounds. So it's 4 to 6 mortals. Now, I don't much care for random d6 rolls like this, but I will say that the one saving grace of this is that on a 1 to 3, the Booby Trap token remains in play to hit the next operative. So if you're going for a huge hit turn 1 or 2, triple arms doubled up with Booby Traps could legit be the way to go. Or, more likely, it will become a really weird off-meta pick and will be big mind games for your opponent, which will mess them up. Which is also cool, you know? Then we have Diversion, Divisive Plan, and Designate Target. All of these can only be done once. With Diversion, pick a target and -1 to its APL. And because we have to say it, because it will be asked, it has already been asked in my Discord in fact, no, this is not -1 to its APL for the entire game. After that operative has activated the first time, they return to their normal APL. That is how APL works. So obviously this is used to stop a dodgy forward deploy, or if the enemy has only put like one model in position to tap an objective turn 1, deny that. There you go. Devise plan is gain 1 CP. Always a solid choice, 1 CP, can't argue with it. And designate target, which is select an enemy for the entire game. All of your team gets to reroll 1 dice in melee and shooting against them. Very nice. Essentially balanced, but it's not balanced. This is the Scout's big decision maker and what will define the team. Of course, meta picks will be found, but I think we can safely say we all love booby traps. The forward scouting options were pretty chunky, so before we dive into another heavy topic, let's jump to equipment for a little light, refreshing snack between courses. Climbing equipment. This does what all climbing equipment does, and I'm just going to thoroughly explain it because it's unavoidable in beta decimal. Climbing equipment does 4 things, but the primary one is that any height up to 3 circle counts as 1 circle. Okay, whether you're going up or down. And of course, all terrain in the game over 2 circle has scalable, so in reality this means all climbing only costs you 1 circle. Simple. This means you can climb pretty much anything with just the dash action if you're base to base with it, as it will cost you circle up and leave you with 1 inch to balance your base on the edge. Climbing equipment also lets you begin your climb without being within 1 inch of the climbable part of the terrain for you to begin your climb, and same when you drop. What does this mean? How is this relevant? Well, it rarely is, frankly, and keep in mind that when you climb, there's no magical teleportation. You don't get any free movement. You have to still pay the cost of your horizontal movement. However, it will allow you to climb from further back. So if there's an operative between you and the ledge, or another piece of terrain, or a barricade, you simply ignore it. Climb your 1 circle and use the rest of your move, which can be combined with a dash, don't forget. Now, this is especially relevant when it comes to beta decima because we be climbing. Having climbing equipment will allow you to get onto gantries that aren't directly connecting to the safe and movable area around the outside. Round the outside, round the outside. Also, it will allow you to climb to and from the large cylinder for a circle. Pretty good. And that's whether you're on the floor or on a gantry, and again it will let you do this from any point on the map as long as you have the movement minus circle to get there. I've been quite wordy, let me summarize. Climbing equipment gives you fly for minus a circle to your move. That's it, there you go. I didn't need to say all of that previous stuff. Climbing equipment, if it's ever caught you out, it just gives you fly for a circle. It taxes your movement just like traverse, gives you fly. There you go, simple. Oh, and when you drop from any height, as it halves the distance you drop, that means you'll be below circle for the drop, and dropping you round down to the closest circle, which means when dropping you don't pay any cost, so you have fly when dropping without the traversal tax. Camo cloak, retain an additional dice for cover. Let's answer the question here for all. Again, generic PSA, how to play the game 101. If you're hit with an AP2 weapon, how does this work? What's the interaction? Because it says I can retain 1 additional dice as a successful normal save as a result of cover. Yes, but you have to have the dice to be able to retain it. Retain means do not roll the dice, set the number. If you don't have the dice to roll, you can't retain. You're welcome. Extra blade gives a combat blade balance. Heavy weapon bipod gives the heavy bolter rerolls of a specific number when it hasn't moved. Note, you can move after the shot is taken. Targeting ocular, you can only take 1 and it gives weapons on your data card no cover, so no getting no cover on the extra weapons like frag and crack grenades. Then they have a smoke, frag and crack grenade which need no introduction, all good picks if you don't want to think too much. And that brings us onto the data sheets themselves. Not huge amounts to discuss here outside of the Sergeant, so let's get stuck in with him. Scout Sergeant, 11 wounds, 4 up save, APL 3. Special ability that lets him give another visible model +1 APL when he activates, making him your comms guy as well as your leader. He can take a bolt gun and fists, a shotgun and fists, or a bolt pistol and chainsword And I don't think there's actually a wrong answer here, which is a nice bit of internal balance we don't often see when it comes to kill team and gunners / leaders. How to equip him? Well, the shotgun at 4 attacks hitting on 2s, 4 damage with balanced is pretty tasty, of course. But all of the scout shotguns are hitting on 2s, so it feels a bit of a waste. You get balance, yes, but still, a 1 rerolls into a 1 every single time, so why would I do that? The bolt pistol and chainsword is how I equipped my sergeant. You can see him right there, based on a first glance of the rules, because otherwise the team doesn't have much in the way of close combat threats. And 5 attacks on 2s, 4/5 damage is a nice profile. It's an assault intercessor, right? But then the bolt gun allows you to hang at the back, take careful chip damage shots, always have the APL to pop out, shoot, pop back into cover, and importantly stay alive to always give out your 1 extra APL to the team, something you really don't want to lose. Okay, so the standard warrior gives us our basic stat line with this team of APL 2. 4 up save, 10 wounds. Let me tell you, that APL 2 is going to make this team struggle in general. You have the same weapon options as the sergeant, but here as your weapon skill is 3+, not 2+, you want all 3 of these guys taking shotguns, so you are still hitting on 2s. Because 4 dice hitting on 2s, 4/4 damage, with that gunfire ambush reroll of a specific number on the turn you go loud means you're 1-tapping horde models in cover, statistically, which is really good. The heavy gunner, of which you can take 2, gets a heavy bolter and a missile launcher, which are both identical to every heavy bolter and missile launcher in the game, so nothing to really talk about there, nothing special. And you can take both, so like I said, not much to really talk about, because you just take both. The hunter has a bolt pistol and combat blade, and his grapnel launcher gives him climbing equipment for free. He also has his grapnel assault, which replaces your charge, and if during that charge you climb, drop, jump, traverse, or your base moves under a vantage point, weird one, but okay, your combat blade gets lethal 3+. And let's cover the basic rules again, because it's going to get asked again. So you're injured, which means you're hitting on 4s, but you've just been given lethal 3+. You roll a 3. Have you hit and therefore crit, or have you missed because you're injured? You miss. A crit converts a hit to a crit, so you still have to actually hit. You're welcome. Doing a service today in this video, aren't we, chaps? Chapesses and chap-I, aren't we, chaps? Sniper gets a camo cloak for free and 1 AP remove obscuring. Lovely. And sure enough, his sniper rifle is heavy and silent with mortal wounds 3. 3 damage. The only question is, on the turn the rest of the team goes loud, do you also make him go loud so you can reroll 1s and or fish for crits? Great sniper, really solid. Tracker points aggressively and has 2 abilities. Track enemy, letting you treat an enemy within 6 inches on a conceal as on an engage for one of your friendly models that you selected alongside the enemy. And then Auspex scan, select an enemy within 6 inches and they are both not obscured and can't retain for cover. Nice. Because, Kroot just really needed the knife twisted on their faction ability, right? Superb. And that's actually the Scout Squad. Nice, quick, simple, easy. All things that no, I'm not going to say that joke. I think that if you're into Space Marines and you want a very different flavour from the current Space Marine squads, this is going to be a good team for you to play, to branch out. I think they hold up their own, like in the mid-tables, with the ability in certain metas to do very well. But 9 models, APL2 is going to struggle to do consistently well, which will hold them back from being a regular in top-tier players' toolboxes. But when you stack those dice and get those fire lanes open for turn 2, you will have some outrageous games where you will just wreck the opponent, have them off the board turn 3. It'll be really nice. So look, if you like what I do here, please consider checking me out on Patreon, where your support keeps this channel on track. On the straight and narrow of Kill Team, instead of going off-piste towards other games. The true heart and soul and hot, sticky lifeblood of the Kill Team community is right here on Glass Half Dead. Look, my Patreon is literally a tip jar, thanking me for my service. Really, I don't want to big it up too much. I don't want to oversell it, okay? But, you know, in return for that tip, I do like to give you some extra videos, some free digital goodies, as you see in front of me and on the screen right now, like these Kill Team activation tokens and my objective markers and some other things. Also, a coloured name in my Discord, which is pretty hype. So, you know, stay politely hydrated. Triple hello.